Hey everyone, and welcome. If you've ever pictured yourself in that gown making a real impact in the legal world, then you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to break down the complete step-by-step journey to becoming a lawyer right here in South Africa. Let's dive right in.
It can seem like this incredibly complex path, right? You hear all these terms thrown around, articles, pupillage, board exams, but what does it actually take to get there? Well, in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on the whole process and give you a crystal clear roadmap from your very first day of university to your first day in court. And the best part, it's not some big mystery. The Legal Practice Act actually lays out a very clear path. I want you to think of it like a series of checkpoints you need to pass. And we're going to walk through every single one together so you know exactly what to expect. Okay, so right out of the gate, you're faced with a really big choice, one that's going to shape your entire career. And that is deciding which type of lawyer you want to become. This is absolutely crucial because your answer determines the entire training path you're about to go on. So, what is the actual difference between an attorney and an advocate? Well, think of it this way. An attorney is usually your first point of contact. They're the ones working directly with you, the client, managing your case from the ground up. An advocate? They're the specialist, the courtroom gun for hire. An attorney brings them in specifically to argue the case in front of a judge. Now, here's the thing. It doesn't matter if you want to be an attorney or an advocate. Everyone, and I mean everyone, starts at the exact same place, university. Your degree is the non-negotiable ticket to entry. That's right. The absolute bedrock, the foundation for this entire journey is the Bachelor of Laws degree, the LLB. It is the one thing you absolutely must have before you can even think about the next steps. What's really interesting here is that there are actually two ways you can get that LLB. Path number one, you can jump straight into a 4-year LLB program right after high school. Or, path number two, you can do another bachelor's degree first, maybe a BCom or a BA, and then do a 2-year post-grad LLB. That second route is fantastic for people who want to specialize later in things like commercial or tax law. All right, so once you've got that LLB in hand, there are a few other boxes you have to tick. You need to be a South African citizen or a permanent resident. And then there's this really important one. You have to be considered a fit and proper person. This is basically a character assessment by the High Court to make sure that you've got the honesty and integrity the job demands. Okay, degrees done. Now it's time to leave the lecture halls behind and step into the real world. This next phase is all about hands-on, practical training. It's where the theory you learned gets put into practice. This is your legal apprenticeship. So, this training happens through something officially called a Practical Vocational Training Contract, or PVTC. But you've probably heard the more common terms, articles of clerkship for attorneys, or pupillage for advocates. It's a formal contract where you're learning the ropes directly from a seasoned crow. And this is where that big choice we talked about at the beginning really kicks in. From this moment on, the journey to becoming an attorney and the journey to becoming an advocate go in two very different directions. Let's start with the attorney path. If you're on track to become an attorney, your articles will be for a standard period of 24 months. That's 2 full years of supervised, in-the-trenches training at a law firm or a similar legal setup. But during those 2 years, it's not just about the practical work. Candidate attorneys also have to complete a structured coursework program. We're talking about a minimum of 150 notional hours. That's the time it's expected to take you, covering all the key skills you'll need every day. So that's the attorney's path. But what if your dream is to be on your feet, arguing cases in the high court as an advocate? Well, let's take a look at how their path is different, because it is. For aspiring advocates, or pupils as they're called, the training period is shorter, but it's much more intense. It's one uninterrupted 12-month program where you are shadowing an experienced advocate, learning the art of litigation up close. And this right here really highlights the difference in focus. While the pupillage itself is shorter, the coursework is way more extensive. Pupils have to get through a program of at least 400 notional hours. That is more than double the requirement for attorneys, and it's all because of the highly specialized work an advocate does. So what exactly are they learning in those 400 hours? The curriculum is laser-focused on what an advocate needs in court. It's everything from advocacy skills and trial proceedings to criminal procedure, legal ethics, and high-level legal drafting. The whole point is to forge a court-ready specialist. All right, you've got the degree, you've survived the grueling practical training, you can almost taste it. You're so close. But before you can officially be called a lawyer, there are a couple of final, crucial hurdles to clear. This is the big test. You have to prove you're ready. Both candidate attorneys and pupils are required to pass a tough, competency-based examination. These are the professional board exams, and they're designed to make sure you have the practical skills needed to be let loose on the public. And this is it. This is the moment everything has been building towards. With all your training done and exams passed, you'll make an application to the High Court. If the court agrees that you've met every single requirement, you will be officially admitted, and your name goes onto the roll of legal practitioners. And just like that, congratulations, you are a lawyer. So you're officially admitted. The big question is, where can you actually work? The Legal Practice Act is very specific about the different ways attorneys and advocates are allowed to offer their services. This table gives us a great snapshot. You can see that both attorneys and advocates can work for themselves, for a law clinic, for legal aid, or for the state. But notice that one key difference. Only an attorney can work as part of a commercial law firm. Advocates traditionally are sole practitioners, which really reinforces their role as independent specialists. Look, there's no doubt about it. It is a long and demanding road, but it's also a very clearly defined one. For anyone out there dreaming of a career in law, just remember that every single successful lawyer started with that very first step, maybe the same step you're thinking about taking right now.
Thank you for watching.